Hey guys, welcome to the week 2 of Chat and Chew. It's J Dog and this is Gage, and we're about to give you an overview of what happened week 2 in the NFL and give you an overview of week 3, fantasy, waiver wire, betting. Let's get to it. First game of the week was the Eagles against the Vikings. So the Eagles had a great game. I mean, the rushing, DeAndre Swift, he looked like the guy everybody said he was going to be. I'm sure fantasy owners that had him in, are happy. The other ones, not so happy.
Start Nick Chubb over DeAndre Swift.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there like that. Not good.
So,
How it goes.
DeAndre Swift with 28 carries, 175 yards, and a touchdown. He's averaging 6.2 yards per carry. That is crazy. That is what you wanted Miles Sanders to do last year to get you over that edge and get you that Super Bowl. So this is a detrimental time where they need to get everything in place of what they had last year so they can make that run again. They are undefeated right now, but they're looking a little rusty, which will happen when you don't play your starters in preseason. So rust happened with Mahomes. Rust is still happening with Burrow, along with an injury. I mean, it's happening with everyone. So let's see if they can pull it back together. But they're looking sharp right now in the run game. So that's a plus. You have something to add to it?
Devontae Smith, 4 receptions, 131 yards. Every time he caught the ball was deep down the field, man. 32 yards average of reception. I was really happy to watch him play, even though I had A.J. Brown on my fantasy team, which, you've seen them arguing on the sideline, so story of my life. But I will say, in terms of the gambling world, I said plus 7.5 Minnesota, and they did cover that. So I'm happy. I made some money. Eagles won, which is really good. I was kind of worried about this game because I knew they were closer than people gave them credit for. I mean, Kirk Cousins, you pull up the stats. I mean, he's looking good. He threw 31 for 44, 364 yards and 4 tutties, no interceptions. Justin Jefferson, obviously the man of the show, 159 yards receiving, averaged 14.5 yards a catch. But Jordan Addison, touchdown reception, he has 72 yards on 3 catches. I mean, if you're in a PPR league, obviously Justin Jefferson was absolutely unreal. TJ Hawkinson, he was on his team and we played each other last week. So, I mean, I felt that. 2 touchdowns, averaging 10 yards a catch for a tight end. I mean, you don't see that every day. So, both teams played great. I was happy to watch the game. Happy for both teams. I like the Minnesota Vikings. I think they're better than. I think they're the most. They're gonna end up being undervalued here because their record definitely doesn't speak for the team. I know the public likes to overreact on records, so just keep an eye on that.
Yeah, and Justin Jefferson, no touchdown receptions, but he had the questionable fumble into the end zone, which resulted in a touchback for the Eagles. That was interesting. We're not going to touch base on that too much because that's a controversial call that people are arguing about online, and it happened. We're going to move on. Week 3, baby. All right, we're going to get over to Daniel Jones. Oh, Daniel Jones and the Giants. 6 quarters of football this season to start it out without any points. Not even a field goal. Nothing. They went to halftime 20-0 against the Arizona Cardinals that don't have their starting quarterback and are in a rebuild. It was looking awful. But they turned it around. They brought it back. I mean, they looked fresher after they came back. I don't know what they said in that locker room to change everybody's attitude and everybody's game style, but they did. And Saquon Barkley had a game. He did great. Let me pull up the stats here real quick. It was... And then Joshua Dobbs guy, he didn't look too bad either. I mean, I saw a few good runs from him, a few good passes from him, so I'll give him some credit there too. Saquon Barkley, 17 carries, 63 yards. I mean, he only averaged 3.7 yards per carry, but he had a touchdown. He also had 6 receptions for 29 yards and another touchdown. He averaged 4.8 yards per catch. I mean, he's all over the place. Daniel Jones, he's kind of average, but he has good yardage. 26 for 37, 321 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. So, I mean, Daniel Jones, he came back. What do you have to add to this?
I couldn't believe it. I mean, a lot of people stopped watching the game or just thought it was boring, another dud. I mean, it sucks watching a team get beat on that bad. I mean, but unless you're a fan of the other team, but when I seen the final score later, I couldn't believe it. I had to go back to see it to believe it. And sure enough, like you said, they just rallied around him, and the Cardinals got too confident almost. I mean, this is the NFL. Anybody can come back at any time. You gotta keep playing. So it was a crazy game.
You gotta give Daniel Jones credit. Looking at his stat sheet, he had 7 different receivers that he threw to. 4 of them got over 40 yards. And they all 4 of those averaged over 10 yards a catch. I mean, Jalen Hyatt, I don't even know who that is, and he's averaging 44.5 yards per catch. 2 receptions for 89 yards. Darren Waller, who we all was excited to see him in this offense because they needed a good pass catcher, 6 receptions, 76 yards. Darius Slayton, 3 receptions, 62 yards. Isaiah Hodgins, 4 receptions, 40 yards. I mean, when he went back out there at halftime, he started throwing, and it was working. It's kind of something good for Giants fans knowing that their Saquon Barkley is going to be out with an ankle sprain for a little bit, so they gotta have this kind of offense. I mean, they're going to have Matt Breida, but how is that going to impact and is that going to help? We don't know until it happens. And the old Eagle, Zach Ertz, looking like a tight end that might be able to get picked up in fantasy. 6 receptions, 56 yards, and 9.3 average for a reception. I mean, not bad. Not bad. Is there a game you want to talk about?
Yeah, we can talk about the 49ers and Rams. Always a classic rivalry there. Neck and neck. It was a 3-point game, I believe. 7-point. Yep, 30-23. That's what I thought, 7-point game. So, 49ers eke it out. I mean, no surprise there. Brock Purdy, he's still doing what he needs to do, but lately it seems like he's starting to get more comfortable and he's trying to open up more and just showing his deep ball and accuracy. So we're going to have to keep watching that. 17 for 25, 206 yards, no tutties. When a team gets 3 rushing touchdowns, it just shows where the priority is on a team. So, I mean, for the people that actually drafted Brock Purdy, depending on the size of your league, and I mean, this is definitely the Christian McCaffrey show. He's averaging 5.8 yards, 116 yards rushing, and a touchdown. And Deebo Samuel's running the ball. So,
and Christian McCaffrey looks fresh. And they still have Elijah Mitchell. Don't forget about him. He's pretty good. So, I mean, Brock Purdy had a rushing touchdown, so he got a little points for you guys in fantasy. But it was nothing to blink at. But those Rams, they're actually tougher than people thought they would be this year. I mean, Puka Nacua, he broke the impressive record. I mean, he 25 catches in 2 games. That's a lot. I mean, there was more targets. That's not all that he was thrown at. I mean, 25 catches, more targets. So, first game he had 10 catches for 119 yards. Second game he had 15 catches for 147 yards. I mean, that's great. So, yeah, I mean, Tutu Atwell, 7 receptions, 77 yards. These young guys, they're not doing bad. Taking over for Cooper Kupp. I mean, it's a good opportunity for him, especially for a 5th-round pick that's showing up like this.
Stafford still throwing interceptions every game.
Yeah, 2 interceptions for Stafford. It's very ballsy. Very ballsy.
Yeah, the man likes to sling the ball.
Kind of like Josh Allen. He wants to get it in the air and as far as possible. And make some bad reads sometimes. But he keeps on slinging it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But he's pretty effective. 307 yards, touchdown, 2 interceptions, 34-55. Not awful for what we thought was going to be a second-string wide receiver core.
Yeah, I know. I mean, do they even need Cooper Kupp at this point? Is that trade stock right there? I mean, what are we doing here?
Well, he's going to be out for longer than they thought because they said that it could be nerve damage. that's keeping him still sidelined, and it's making him not be able to heal. So that could be an issue, and we could see the Puka show for a little while, and I'm not complaining about that. I mean, they held up the Niners, almost won against the Niners, so that's great. Now, you want to talk about them Cowboys or what?
Not really.
Are they them boys?
Yeah, we can
That's
talk
the
about
question.
them.
Are they them boys? Are you guys saying that yet? Because it's not time yet. But we will hear you out. Let us know in the comments. Are they them boys yet? Let us know. Are they going to the Super Bowl this year? Is it too early to tell? I think so. But if you don't think so, tell me in the comments. Let me know what happened.
Oh, man. Cowboys just kind of all around smacked the Jets up. We kind of seen it coming. 30-10 game. I mean, it's a pretty good prediction of the score, honestly, if you would have thought about it in your head. Defense holding down Zach Wilson, holding down that offense. Cowboys offense waking up from the Giants. They didn't even have to play in the Giants game. They just were scoring points on autopilot. So, seeing Dak Prescott out here putting up 13 consecutive completions. I read the wrong line. So, the fact that he's trying to play super conservative, he's moving the ball down the field, and he's not throwing picks or even incompletions for that matter. I mean, everybody was on him and on Twitter and all that, and that's what he said. I'm not throwing picks, and I mean, so far he stayed true to that. And I mean, Michael Parsons, the only reason I don't like him is because he's not an Eagle. I mean, the dude is a beast. He's a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. 2 sacks, stripped Dalvin Cook of the ball, 9 pressures on the QB, 3 tackles for a loss, and a forced turnover. So, the man was on fire all game. He's been on fire for like 2 seasons in a row now.
Tony Pollard looks good. 25 carries, 72 yards. It's only 2.9 average, but he's a game manager right now. I mean, he's doing good when they need him to. If not, he's just doing the same thing Ezekiel Elliott was doing. Running the ball when they need to run it, and then slinging the ball when they need to sling it. 31 for 38 for Dak, 255 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, great play all around. And then you got the other side. That's Zach Wilson with 12 completions out of 27 for 170 yards, a touchdown, and not 1, not 2, but 3 interceptions. Oh, man. Now, tell me, Jets fans, what do you think is the solution to this problem? Because I don't even know. Jets tried to bring Andrew Luck out of retirement. Ain't happening. I mean, Jets brought Aaron Rodgers over here hurt. What is the solution? Are we going to make that solution this year, or are we rocking with the Wilson experience for the rest of the year? Because if so, this is going to be a rough year. And the biggest problem with this year is the fact that Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook only had 8 runs total together. Why are they giving Zach Wilson 27 attempts to throw the ball when they've only used their star running backs 8 times the whole game? So what's the solution?
Asking me, I don't know. I picked Aaron Rodgers on my fantasy team, so I definitely don't have the solution for these guys. I need my own solutions right
You
now.
got Matt Ryan. He loves to throw the running backs. Oh, man.
Yeah, they're definitely slacking on that side, I can tell you that.
Robert Saleh, if you're watching this, pick up Matt Ryan. I mean, hey, it has to be better than Zach Wilson at this point, right?
Yeah, it's hard to tell, honestly.
Yeah. But,
Yeah, it can't get much worse.
Sam Howell. Let's move to a younger guy that's actually doing pretty good for himself. Sam Howell looking good with 3 touchdown drives in second half, including a 30-yard strike to McLaurin. I mean, Sam Howell's looking pretty good. Are you, as an Eagles fan, are you actually worried, or you just think he's doing good, but he's not going to rock with the big guys yet?
I'm starting to think we have one of the best divisions in the NFL. I mean, depending on how consistent this guy is. I mean, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. It seems like the team likes him. Chase Young's speaking highly of him in the post-game interviews. So that's always good stuff to see. I mean, when you're getting the team and the moral up, and this is a streaky sport. So if your team's hot, your team's hot. And I mean, they're 2-0. Who would have thought that the Commanders would be 2-0 at the beginning of the year? I mean, that's interesting stuff to see. Terry McLaurin, I've known he's been a beast for a while. He just needed the right guy to be throwing the ball. And hey, if Sam Howell's that guy, more power to you. Let's see more of it. I mean, I don't want to see more of it as an Eagles fan, but, we'll rock with it.
Now, I can tell you probably the craziest thing about that game was not the people that won. It was Russell Wilson throwing a Hail Mary at the end of the game and getting it just to fail on the 2-point conversion. And if you looked at that sideline for the Broncos when he threw that Hail Mary, you saw Sean Payton not even smile when he got that Hail Mary, but give a face of regret seeing that incompleted 2-point conversion.
It's gotta hurt, man.
He doesn't look like someone that is supporting this franchise in the downs. So if they go up, is he going to take the credit? Because it looks like he's just being rough with him. Sometimes you need to support them. Look at Coach Prime. He's out there hugging the players saying, hey, I know you're struggling, but it'll be okay. And then they go out with that energy like, I got to prove something to him. He supports me. I got to support him too. And they go out and play the best game of their life. So is Sean Payton the answer? I don't think so. But Russell Wilson also has to pick up his shit because it's getting bad. Broncos are just looking rough. It's time for a rebuild. But you paid him all this money. Let's see what he can do one more time.
Yeah, I can't believe I wanted to be an Eagle at one point. But we talk about the Falcons game, playing against the Packers. Close game, a lot of ground game. It was actually a fun game to watch. A lot of run going on, especially on the Atlanta side. I mean, Bijan Robinson just looking like a Rookie of the Year candidate, despite all these rookies out here doing good. 19 carries, 124 yards, 4 catches, and 48 yards. Those are three-year in guy stat line right there. I mean, this guy's playing great for being on the Falcons, who didn't do very much last season. And Green Bay Packers right up there with them. I actually lost his bet. I didn't think the Falcons were going to show up like this. I knew they had the good run game, but I figured that this offense from the Packers could keep it moving a little faster, but I just didn't expect the Falcons offense to move like they did. I knew they had a good running core, but I didn't think they were keeping up with Green Bay. So good on both sides of the ball for Atlanta to keep the game a point close. And it's crazy because the spread was 1. So the fact that it was a -1+1 spread and it ended up being right on, I mean, these bookies have a time machine, I'm telling you. I'm worried.
And Desmond Ridder was making some good passes in there. I mean, we saw some tight windows that he threw to, so they're starting to give him a little bit more leeway. It's not like last week we were talking about. We were just talking about doing the under because he only threw for, 115 yards last week? Now he threw for 237 yards, 19 passes. I mean, he's getting better. It's not like he's the most... He's 19 for 32, so it's not like he's going crazy. But he's making it work, and they're 2-0, so something's working. It also has to do with Bijan having 19 carries for 124 yards and also receiving 4 receptions for 48 yards. So, I mean, he's doing a lot. He is a workhorse. But Desmond Ridder's doing what he has to do as well. So We'll give him credit there.
Didn't trick on the ball last week. Nothing crazy going on for the Packers offensively, but enough to keep them in the game.
3 touchdowns for Jordan Love, though.
Yeah, we will put that on notice. I mean, he only completed 14 passes, 25 attempts, 151 yards. But guess what? When he needs to get the ball into the end zone, it's getting there. So that's what matters. That's what kept him in this game. Jordan Love really showed up today. I was really impressed.
Yeah, 0 interceptions, too. He's not making bad reads. I mean, if he continues this all season, we're looking at the Bears franchise crying in their basement for the next about 15 years. So hopefully for the Bears, this guy doesn't work out because he's looking like he's going to follow Aaron Rodgers' footsteps. And how long is this going to happen until they have a quarterback that doesn't work? So I guess we'll have to see. Bills. The Bills running game's taken off. I've been talking about the Bills. All they need is that run game. They need to take a little bit off Josh Allen because Josh Allen runs, he passes, he slings it downfield, gets an interception, but he'll do it again. He's not going to stop because he did that. And you don't want him to stop because most of the time he does pretty good with that. He will get interceptions time to time. That's his play style. But now that they got a run game, they can keep the defense honest. And that is really important. James Cook, he had 17 carries for 123 yards and 4 catches for 36 yards. I mean, this guy is looking way better than people they've had previously. So let's see how that goes. He's on my fantasy team. He's racking me up points. He's doing great. So, yeah, someone to look out for. Maybe trade material. Sell him high. Well, maybe is this just for now? Is James Cook gonna slow down? I mean, if you think so, sell him high now because he is a high value right now. And now I got to talk about it because he's my guy. Lamar Jackson really settling into that Monken offense.
It was beautiful. Watching him poised in the pocket, looking down the field, making his reads, quick reads too. Man, he's not taking the ball and trying to move right away. I really like this side of Lamar. It's really exciting.
Yeah, that 52-yard pass to Zay Flowers, double coverage. He's trusting his receivers and staying in pocket to do so. He's not moving around and throwing it on one leg and stuff like that. He's looking composed. He's looking comfortable, which is important. And look at Nelson Aguilar.
Old Eagle. Eagle. It hurt to see, but man, he was playing great.
As our friend Nate says, occasional hands Aguilar. He was the biggest let me see his stat line real quick. Let me pull this up for you guys, because the Eagles fans they don't think this is gonna last. We'll see. But 5 receptions for 63 yards, a 12.6 yard average, and a touchdown. He was making plays when we needed plays. And Zay Flowers, he continues his success. Still no touchdowns, though. Still no touchdowns. He's going to get his. I mean, he's putting in work. But still no touchdowns. He was being locked down in that game, though. They were watching Zay Flowers. He is, a lot of people are looking at him as our number one. So, yeah. We'll have to keep an eye on this receiving core. Yeah, Odell Beckham, he went out. He was making some good catches before he went out. He had 3 catches for 29 yards, 9.7 average. He went out with an injury. John Harbaugh said in the post-game interview that it's not serious. He should be back for next game. We'll see, though, because John Harbaugh is very nonchalant about everything. Did you take anything from that game? Cincinnati?
Tired of seeing Joe Burrow not earn his money.
Joe Burrow struggling.
I mean, he showed up a little more today, but still, I mean, he's not looking the same. 27 for 41, 222 yards. And we watch the game back, it's just doesn't look the same.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely struggling.
Yeah, so Joe Burrow, he only had 35 passing yards in the first half. 35. Wasn't looking good for him again. And then all of a sudden he started throwing these short completions. T. Higgins touchdown, short completion. And he just continued it. T. Higgins touchdown again. And that's what got him in rhythm. Now our defense got to stop. Hashtag Geno Stone with the interception to help us out right there and in the end zone. So, I mean, we had our stops and we earned that game. It wasn't a game where it was just them being bad, but it was also us being good. So, we had a good game. They're still struggling on offense. Joe Mixon looking all right. 13 carries, 59 yards, a 4.5 average. So, not bad at all. I think the Bengals will get there. Now, Joe Burrow might be hurt. We aggravated his calf. You saw him on the sideline with the massage gun. So, yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that. I have some waiver wire targets if you need to replace Joe Burrow for a few weeks. What about Geno Smith?
I'm loving watching him, man. I lost my bet on this game. It was a close game, man. It could have easily been money in my pocket. Could have been money in the other side's pocket. Plus 5.5 spread, minus 5.5 spread. So, curse you, Geno. I mean, not literally. I hope he's the best success. But it sucked this week when I lost that bet because I was down to the wire, man. It was a great game. 328 yards from Geno. 323 yards from Goff. I mean, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception from Goff. 2 touchdowns from Geno. great quarterback play in this game, and it's just funny when you watch guys that, I mean, Jared Goff had a lot of hype going into his career, but at this point in his career, it's just, we're not sure what to expect from him, especially Geno Smith. I mean, this guy was freaking... This guy's a Jet at one point. So it just goes to show what getting away from the Jets can do for you.
He was a backup for a long time. I mean...
Yeah, that's crazy.
Who was it? The Broncos traded in for Russell Wilson. Geno's doing better than Russell Wilson. Who won that trade? Seahawks.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and it wasn't just the quarterbacks in this. You see the running backs. I mean, David Montgomery, 16 carries, 67 yards. Kenneth Walker, 17 carries, 43 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I mean, it was all around good play, and it was great. Sorry for the door. Wife brought me in some water.
I was dying. I think that water's a week old, but I was definitely not caring for a minute, man. I was like, I'm gonna pass out.
I texted her. All right.
Yeah, we're humans, guys. Sorry, but yeah, let's talk about my guy on fantasy football, Anthony Richardson. Man, he's my big gamble this year since I'm out of A-Rod. And he got me 20 points in the. I think he got out in the first quarter, right?
It was first quarter, beginning second, something like that.
Yeah, second quarter, right at the end of the first. So, I mean, 20 points in the first quarter. I mean, some guys are putting that up in a game. It was really cool. I was really disappointed to see him get hurt because, man, this guy's a tank. He's everything I thought he would become in the NFL. I knew he was underrated. People weren't sure about him, but I'm impressed. I mean, you look at him compared to other rookies in the NFL right now. He's definitely made his point. And, I mean, playing against who else but the other guy on the other side, our lovely C.J. Stroud, it was definitely a fun game to watch until he got hurt, and then I was sad because there goes all my production. And remember what I said? It had nothing to do with his injury either, but just watch his injury, and look at that. He still got hurt anyway after the bruise got dismissed.
I mean, look at C.J. Stroud, though. He had a game. I mean, 30 for 47 yards, or 30 for 47 yards, 30 completions out of 47, 384 yards, almost a 400-yard game from him. 2 touchdowns. And who even is his wide receivers?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, he came in here and everybody was like, okay, you're getting a rookie quarterback, but you got rid of your only good wide receiver, Brandon Cooks. So, I mean, he's making work done with these guys, and he's doing pretty decent with the Texans.
Yeah, I
who
would say
were one of the worst. Yeah.
Carrying the team 20 points, that's a lot of him right there. I mean, Colts are looking good.
That's his touchdowns and then two field goals.
Yeah, AFC South is definitely in competition right now, guys. I mean, all 4 of them teams are looking pretty good. I mean, Texans definitely not looking as good as the others, but I mean, take a look at the AFC South, and that's a good division to keep an eye on.
And Gardner Minshew didn't do bad when he came in either. I mean, 19 for 23, 171 yards and a touchdown. He held it down. He wasn't doing crazy stuff, but Gardner Minshew held it down. He looked better than he did in Philly last year.
Yeah, I mean, he even looked all right in Philly for when we needed him
to
show up and do what he needed to do, especially for our style of offense. So this is a better offense for him. I mean, obviously, I hope Anthony Richardson gets better. He's on my team, but for the Colts' sake, if they got Gardner Minshew ready to go, that's what backup quarterbacks are for. They're not there to be superstars every week, but step in and win us the game, 31-20. So it was really awesome.
And that was Shane Steichen's first win as the Colts head coach, too. That was his first win.
Zach Moss, he was on my fantasy team, didn't matter, but he did all right, 88 yards rushing. So.
Yeah. Mahomes been struggling this year. First half, he struggled a lot. He had 3 turnovers. That's not like Mahomes. 3 turnovers.
Yeah,
but they brought it back. They started doing good in the second half. He got his buddies back. Got Chris Jones on one side, Travis Kelce on the other, you know. I mean, he's chilling with his buddies again, so he had a little bit more confidence. He's going against a pretty good Jags team, and their defense held him down. That's the biggest part of this game, is their defense held the Jags down. Patrick Mahomes, 29-41, 305 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Sky Moore, remember me telling you he's going to get a touchdown?
Yeah.
I was the wrong week. 3 receptions, 70 yards, and a touchdown. You guys that dropped him, plan on him being good. They had a really hard time first game. First week doesn't matter as much as the whole season. Don't drop people the first week or just 1 week of having problems.
Yeah.
They will change. Everyone has down games, especially when you don't play the preseason. I'm pretty sure Sky Moore did play the preseason, not 100%, but still, Mahomes wasn't on. So that's a big thing. Trevor Lawrence doing normal Trevor Lawrence stuff. 22-41, 216 yards.
Yeah, it was mainly a defensive thing. I mean, they held them down when they needed to. It's crazy. I mean, they didn't even have a bad game. Christian Kirk, 110 yards. Evan Ingram, 57 yards. It's good football from the Jags. I mean, the Chiefs, especially with Jones back, I mean, that's a big presence on the defensive front right there. So it's just good to see that. Like I said, AFC South, competitive division. They're neck and neck with the Chiefs. So, yeah, just keep an eye on that division, man.
You want to talk about a good game? Baker Mayfield. Wow. Baker Mayfield. I bet there's some salty people out there about this. He just got rid of Tom Brady. He thought the Bucs are going to suck. Oh, man. Nope. Guess who's here? Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans. Here to screw up your day.
Good save.
I mean, 27. They're going against the Bears. At the end of the day, they're going against the Bears. Poverty franchise that just can't find a quarterback. We feel for you Bears fans, man. I mean, I saw that document that Aaron Rodgers had to sign over to Jordan Love to sign over the rights to your team. So now Jordan Love owns you. So I'm not a Packers fan. I'm not even in your conference. But we all know it's true. I mean, Justin Fields struggling as usual. 16 for 29, 211 yards, touchdown, 2 interceptions. DJ Moore, he'll make stuff go with not much. 1 second, guys.
Yeah, I'll just carry it on while you get the battery on there. So, yeah, it was really cool to see Baker Mayfield out there. Like I was trying to say last week, I picked him up on fantasy. I didn't have him in my starting lineup, but he still showed up, man. And 317 yards, so it was really cool to see. Mike Evans is definitely his best buddy. Unfortunately, I got Godwin on my fantasy team. It's been a rough, bad luck week. But I'm noticing the Mayfield-Mike Evans connection. I don't think anybody's seen it coming. Obviously, hindsight's a beautiful thing, but yeah, I was just very impressed.
Yeah, he's looking pretty decent. He's not looking bad at all. Chris Godwin's not looking bad either, but Mike Evans, 171
Yeah.
yards from Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
That's crazy.
28.5 yards of reception average. That's a fun guy to watch play when they're just making plays, long plays. Poor Bears.
Think about that, Bears. Baker Mayfield threw for over 300 yards on you with a new team in his second week.
Yeah,
Ouch.
6 sacks on Justin Fields because he doesn't know how to play the game sometimes. I mean, it's hard to watch sometimes.
Yeah.
But he gets hot. He looked hot, and then it just it was looking like a pretty close game, and you just watch. I don't know. It's just like his consistency's off or something.
Yeah. 103 scrimmage yards from that Rashad White and the touchdown. So that's a good running back to have on your fantasy. I got him in my bench. I benched him because he didn't do good for week 1. This is why you don't worry about week 1. I worried about week 1. What happened? He went off on my bench, and I didn't get a single point. I won, but I didn't get a single point. Yeah, I had a lot of points this week.
I didn't have a lot. I got smacked up, man.
I had Puka, Rashad White. I forget who the other one was, but I had some good people on my bench. 3 people made 80 points on my bench, and I was very upset about that. Oh, Brian Robinson.
Yeah.
Another guy who had a great day.
Yeah, I was doomed from the jump on that game, guys.
I have a good lineup this year. I think this is mine to lose. So, but Saquon's out, so things could change.
Yeah.
Things can always change in fantasy.
Poor Saquon Barkley. But yeah, we want to move on to the other overtime game we had, the Chargers-Titans game. I was surprised. Is what I mean. It's just week to week right now, and that's why I said the AFC South, man. All these teams are competitive. I mean, you're beating the Chargers. That's a good team. Justin Herbert, got his guys, Austin Eckler, all them guys over
Keenan
there.
Allen, Mike Williams.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy that they actually ended up winning the game. Ryan Tannehill turned the whole entire. You were saying last week he might not have his position, but he probably heard you. No, he's definitely worried about it though, because 20 for 24, he only missed 4 passes on the day, 246 yards. Derrick Henry's on my fantasy team, 80 yards and a touchdown. He wasn't averaging much a carry, but he was moving the ball, keeping the clock rolling. Seemingly they needed that in this close game.
I don't even know who Chris Moore is, but 1 reception, 49 yards. It seemed like he did all right. Well,
Yeah.
that 1 reception, he did all right. I don't even know how to say that guy's name. Nick Westbrook Ikhine. He threw, but like, look at all the people he threw to.
Yeah, he's all over the
1,
place.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different receivers got. Well, okay, never mind. This guy, I don't know. I guess he got a target. He threw to him. He just didn't catch it. So 8 different people got thrown to. 7 people caught it.
I think they're still missing A.J. Brown.
Yeah, Treylon Burks is starting to look like they're his replacement that they wanted him to be.
Yeah.
And DeAndre Hopkins, I mean, he's off to a slow start, but he's with a new team. What can you expect? Honestly, give him some time.
He's on my bench waiting.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for him yet, luckily. I mean, I didn't think he was playing this week with all this. So everybody on the fantasy chat was talking about in the blog I'm in, and they were saying, oh, D-Hop, he hasn't practiced. He hasn't practiced. He played, so let's keep an eye on that.
And 4 receptions, 40 yards. I mean, he played well enough. He got 10 yards average per catch. So we can't complain about that. Dolphins. Oh, that was a close game. Jalen Waddle went out at the end. Everybody was stressing. Dolphins missed a field goal. And then you have the Patriots. Mac Jones not looking too bad. Hunter Henry catching passes. He's looking like a great tight end this year. I mean, all around they seem like a competitive team. And then you got Mac Jones throwing to his receiver at the very end of the game. 4th down. Throws to his receiver. Receiver tries to trudge up. Can't get to the 4th down. What does he do? He laterals it back to an offensive lineman. An offensive lineman proceeds to run through the defenders. And he got so close where his elbow, with the ball in front of it, touched the line where he needed to get past. But the ball wasn't there. So he was short that much. So yeah, it was a sad ending to what a crazy play that ended it. So I felt for the Patriots. I wish they would have gotten their shot because that was kind of impressive play and they played good all around. I mean, they're going against a very aggressive, hungry Dolphins team that they want to win. They don't want to wait. I mean, Tua is sick of all the hate and he's ready to play. He got the fastest offense out there. So, yeah, good play by the Patriots.
Yeah, we go to the other Monday night game. Cleveland, Pittsburgh. What a messy game offensively for a while. And I mean, let's talk about messy. I can't even think about it, but the Nick Chubb injury. Watching that man's leg do what it did is just rough. Steelers eke it out 22-26. I bet the Browns money line. Dude, Deshaun Watson just not playing like he should. I mean, half completions. He's 3 face mask penalties. I mean, dude, you're making so much money. Like, come on. I mean, I know I bet on the Browns to win and all, but even if I didn't, what's going on? This is a game that the Browns easily should have won. So.
You can only see half your face.
Oh shoot! I'm leaning over.
But yeah, I mean, Deshaun Watson was playing pretty aggressive. Kenny Pickett is not. I mean, Kenny Pickett looks scared in the pocket, making bad reads. He had some good passes. I'm not saying that, but he is making some bad reads. He needs to go through his progressions. George Pickens is getting open. He has multiple people getting open. Pat Freiermuth, dude's a monster. Get him the ball. Did he even catch the ball? Let me see here. I don't even remember hearing much about him.
1 catch, 2 yards.
1 catch, 2 yards for his tight end. If you're in a situation where Brown's Myles Garrett is in your face, you got two people you want to throw to. You want to throw to the running back, who had 4 receptions for 66 yards, by the way, or you want to throw to a tight end. They realized you were throwing to the running back. Now you got the tight end. Don't take the sack. Don't throw it into coverage. Take the safety blanket and move the chain. So that's something he needs to work on. Deshaun Watson just playing kind of silly, to be honest. Just watching him grab the face mask. He's trying to run around like he's Lamar Jackson or one of the running quarterbacks, but he's not getting anywhere really. He had a few runs, but it's nothing impressive. Nothing a highest guaranteed money guy should be producing. So we hope to see better. Us Ravens hope to see better because we want them to be competitive. And prayers for Nick Chubb, man. That's a rough injury. They didn't even show it. So prayers for Nick Chubb.
That was definitely a bad one.
That was rough. And those to you that saw the video.
Yeah, it was. I seen the
It was
screenshot.
bad.
That's all I needed to see, man.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna move on. We're gonna go through the week 2 injuries. Do you want to start it out?
Yeah, we'll run through these because there's a lot of them this week, guys.
We have a big injury list this week.
I could run the first page if you want.
Yep.
So first of all, OBJ ankle injury for the Baltimore Ravens. So keep an eye on that if he's on your team. Doesn't think it's serious. Should be available week 3. Darnell Mooney, the Chicago Bears. He's reportedly has a knee injury sustained in the game. So we'll see. Keep an eye on him if he's on your team as well. David Montgomery of the Detroit Lions, running back, didn't return to the game. Looking like he's not coming back next week, so plan accordingly there if he's on your team. Anthony Richardson, oh my gosh. Hopefully this isn't a Cam Newton injury-prone thing, but ruled out with the concussion, hit his head, slammed his head back. He seemed kind of fine, and then it didn't seem fine. So hopefully we're going to look at that day-to-day, especially me for sure. Jalen Waddle, concussion as well in the fourth quarter. Yeah. He's in the protocol, and that's a big for some people's fantasy team. That's a guy that people drafted early. Saquon Barkley's another guy that I know might have been a first-rounder for some Giants fans. Probably wasn't a first-rounder for him, but was he?
No, he was my beginning of the second round.
But still, that's an early pick to lose real fast like that. And say it's a quick healer, but man, Saquon Barkley, like what's going on here?
They're saying he might not be out for Thursday's game with a high ankle sprain. Their coach is trying to get him to play. Who is that? Brian DeBall, right?
Yeah, dude.
He said, Saquon Barkley is a quick healer. We're not calling him out for Thursday night's game. Let's call him out. Let him heal.
Yeah, he's not a quick healer. He's out for the whole one season.
Yeah.
ACL injury, so.
Yeah, so, ACL injury's out for everybody for a whole season now. You can heal for this fast, but not in 4 days fast.
Yeah.
You're pushing it, so.
Anything with his legs, man, just let him heal up because you don't want. And if he has an ankle sprain, and then I don't know if you've ever done anything through an injury, you depend on other parts of your body more. So if he's playing through this, guess what? He's putting more pressure on those things that he's already destroyed once. So just things to think about. I would just give him the time off. You got stuff going on. Danny Dimes. I said Natty, but so I would just play it safe with Saquon. But watch that on your fantasy team. Chase Edmonds, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's out 4 to 6 weeks with an MCL strain. That's another big one for a lot of guys. For the Bucs, not so much. I think they got a lot going on. They're very wide open right now. They have a lot of options. So
you got Rashad White. He's been doing great.
Logan Thomas, Washington Commanders, ruled out.
If you don't know him, he's a tight end.
Yeah.
I didn't know who he was at first, but I don't follow the Commanders very close.
But he got smacked really hard in the head, helmet hit by Kareem Jackson. So we're gonna see how that goes. Do I even have to say Nick Chubb?
Yeah, he's out the whole season. I don't care what people are telling you. He's out the whole season. That was bad.
Yeah, hopefully.
And he had the same thing in college, so I'm a little scared that it might be worse than a season. So we'll see where it goes, and we'll keep you updated. Brandon Ayuk, shoulder. San Francisco 49ers. He's a wide receiver. Ayuk was listed as non-participant in Monday's practice. It wasn't something that happened in the game, I don't think. I didn't see an injury happen in Monday's game or in Sunday's game, but he wasn't playing in practice. So there's something bothering him. It's they haven't said anything crazy yet, so I'm guessing it's just something that's nagging him, and he's trying to rest it. Zay Jones, his knee, Jacksonville Jaguars wide receiver. I think you picked him up. Be careful of that. Doug Peterson says considered day-to-day, awaiting results. DK Metcalf, ribs. He's questionable to return this week, so keep an eye on that. See what he's doing in practice. Brandon Cooks, Dallas Cowboys wide receiver. He has a rib issue. Questionable to return this week as well. But he's expected to play. But it's up in the air right now depending on how he feels. He's rested up. So expect him to miss a few practices. Deontay Johnson, hamstring, Steelers, wide receiver. He was placed on the IR on Monday. So he'll be out at least 4 weeks. Jacoby Myers, concussion. We've been dealing with this for a few weeks now. Since week 1, so about a week and a half. We're hoping he's back. Josh McDaniels say he's heading in the right direction, but it's too early to know if he'll play against the Steelers, and that's a hard defense to play against, especially coming out of concussion protocol. I would let him rest 1 more week.
Yeah, I mean, what they just do to Nick Chubb?
Yeah,
they're a violent team, man. Good defense.
There was injuries that whole game.
Yeah,
it was the Browns, the Steelers. They were rough. Joe Burrow. Calf. Cincinnati Bengals QB.
Nagging calf. Joe Burrow.
And he shouldn't have played on it. If it was already bothering him, he shouldn't play against the Ravens defense because we have such angry games. It's worse than the Steelers games. We have such angry games. There's so much emotion, and that causes people to tackle harder, not care about injuring people. But, yeah. So,
big rivalries in the AFC.
Yeah, AFC North is a big rivalry place. So moving on to fantasy waiver wire pickups. An idea of who to pick up for QB, CJ Stroud. He's only 9% rostered. That means 91% of you can pick him up. I mean, he's doing great. He may have started 0-2, but CJ Stroud has 58 of 91 passes, 626 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, that's great.
0 interceptions.
Yeah, no interceptions.
That's Ohio State football. They finally get their quarterback in the league, maybe.
Yeah. QB Matt Stafford throwing the Puka. Tutu. These names, why are they all 4 letters? That's my question.
Yeah.
Only 35% rostered. Matthew Stafford, only 35% rostered. I mean, he may not have a flashy stat line, but if you watch the games, he's doing good with the new wide receiver core. 58 of 93 for 641 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Both interceptions are coming against the 49ers. That's a good defense. I mean, and the touchdowns also against the Niners. So he's still throwing up touchdowns. So, I mean, yeah, 641 yards in 2 games. That's great. It's averaging 320 yards a game. Running back Zach Moss of the Colts. It's 52% rostered. So that's 48% of you can get him. It could be a running back to replace Saquon Barkley till he gets back. So, or Nick Chubb. He's not coming back. Don't get excited.
He's a good replacement for him.
Yeah, he's a good replacement. At least for now. Maybe he has a good game and you can use him as trade material. Sell him high. The biggest thing is sell him high before they go back to being low. Zach is taking over for Jonathan Taylor. He had an outstanding game in week 2. 18 carries, 88 yards, a touchdown, 4 catches, 19 yards with Richardson out. Next week, if he is out, he could take on a heavier workload than that. And I mean, taking on a heavier workload than 88 yards and a touchdown? That sounds like a fantasy guy to me. Running back Jerome Ford with the Browns. He had an insane game. I didn't even, being in his division, I thought I would know who it is. I had no idea who that was. Only 18% rostered. That means 82% of you guys can pick him up. Jerome Ford, he'll be the starting running back after Nick Chubb, and he had 16 carries for 106 yards and 3 catches for 25 yards and a touchdown, taking over from Nick Chubb.
Against the Steeler defense.
Against the Steeler defense. And it's not like this guy was just doing these small plays, racking up. This guy was doing some crazy stuff. He was juking. He was spinning. He looked good. So, yeah, keep an eye on him. He almost had 2 touchdowns. He was like 2 yards away from having another touchdown. And that was when he ran, I think it was like, that was the one I showed you. It was like 50-some yards, 60-some yards. He ran, he reached out his arms with the football and just barely came short. So, I mean, high upside. High upside. Running back Matt Breida. They needed Breida to finish the game because Saquon went out. He answered the call with a 16-yard rush, setting up the game-winning field goal. I mean, he's going to take over for Saquon. They like to run. We don't know how good he's going to do yet. But if you really need somebody, he might be the guy. So look into him. That's all I can tell you. He doesn't have the stat sheet that some of these guys have that I can tell you this is a pretty good. He's a question mark. But sometimes those question marks, Puka, can be really well. Do really well, and they can take over your team and help you. So look into them. Do you want to continue?
Yeah, I'll take off from there. Justice Hill for the Ravens.
He still hasn't been picked up. That's crazy.
Yeah, he still only got 44% of the roster, and this guy's pretty much RB1 right now.
Yeah, splitting carries with Gus Edwards.
Yeah, so if you're looking for someone that to keep up with the RB2 or whatever, definitely recommend him. 11 rushes, 41 yards, 3 of 3 catches for 12 yards. And it's just the beginning. I mean, this is one of those guys where if you're in a big team league, this is why we're bringing out these kind of players. I mean, he's not the best out there, but if you're in a league with a lot of guys, you don't have options on free agency like some leagues, There's 12, 14 of you, so you really got a slim picking sometimes when these guys start getting hurt. So just snag him up while you can if you need him. Tutu Atwell, Rams are on fire without Cooper Kupp. They don't even need him. This guy is only 25% rostered, 77 yards, 7 catches against 49ers, and that's while Puka's over there on the other side of the ball doing his thing. So, Matt Stafford has options. He's a gunslinger. So, again, if you're in one of those leagues with a lot of guys, this guy may be wide receiver 2 right now, but he's going to be catching the ball. He's going to be putting up yards like some teams with the wide receiver 1. So, just keep an eye on that.
That is the second week in a row Tutu Atwell and Puka Nacua together had over 200 yards. Just keep that in mind. That's a lot.
That's money. That's money. Sky Moore for the Chiefs, 49% roster at this point. A lot of people gave up on this guy. Seen a lot of drops on him, but he went from a 0 reception game to a 3 receptions for 70 yards and a tutty. So people that didn't overreact in week 1, they got a pretty good points out of this guy, and he's slightly over half of us out there could be picking this guy up right now. So if you need depth on your team, there's another wide receiver to consider. Tank Dell, wide receiver for the rosters. They got Noah Brown on the IR, so we got a rookie out here making 7 catches, 72 yards, and a touchdown. There's another hidden gem right now. 5% roster, I guarantee you that goes up by next week. Guarantee you people start picking this guy up for a flex position. Most of us could go get this guy. Josh Reynolds, Lions, wide receivers. A lot of wide receivers this week that kind of showed that there's a lot of I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but diversity out there. I mean, that's the word. Different teams, all that. So, Lions, one of the top offenses last year, surprisingly, and they're still on pace to do that. So far, he's caught 13 targets, 146 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So, it's another guy that most people don't have on their team that, keep an eye on him. And the last one's a guy I actually ended up picking up last week, Luke Musgrave, I believe, of the Packers. He's 25% roster. So 75% of you guys could be snagging this guy. I just did because my tight end was butt. So this guy caught 5 of 7 targets for 75 yards. We're waiting on that touchdown still, but Jordan Love is finding putting the ball where it needs to be. So it's only a matter of time, in my opinion. So just keep your eyes peeled on that, man.
All right, I guess it's time for the betting segment, right?
Yeah, we'll start talking some gambling.
All right.
That's our waiver wire there, so just listen back to that if you need to. Just write some names down, try to figure out what you want going on moving forward for your team.
So tell the viewers, what are you looking at? Are you looking at DraftKings, FanDuel? Where are you looking for these what do they call it, spreads and everything that you're finding.
So when I bet, I use the Action Network app, and I have 3 different accounts. I got BetMGM, DraftKings, and Parks. Because when you're betting, if you're doing this for the long haul, you're trying to make money. You know, you're not worried about how long it takes or any of that. So if I can get +6 on BetMGM, but I can't get it anywhere else, I'm glad I have BetMGM. So just something to consider. That doesn't mean going and dropping a bunch of money on all these. It's just giving you the option when you see value somewhere to get the best number. So, you know, I do a lot of sports betting, so it's how I like to do it. It helps me understand, you know, all right, if I want the over, go to DraftKings. If I want the spread, like they're all over the place right now. If you look at the Saints-Packers game, you got some DraftKings, BetMGM, Parks. So that's the thing, these bookies are throwing different lines slightly, so definitely something you want to be looking out for. This coming week is looking definitely very interesting for gambling. The lines are starting to get a lot tighter now. We're at that point of the year. There's some big ones that I could definitely note. Dallas -12 against the Cardinals. I'm almost hammering that still before it gets to 13. That's a good number in my opinion. Cardinals, they're not good. And the Cowboys defense is not going to let them score. And I don't see Dak and the boys having a problem getting to... I got -12, so I don't see them getting there. I don't see the Cardinals keeping up like that. There's a couple other games we could look at here.
He'll read off his bets, and then I'll read off mine for the week. And then we'll revisit this to see who actually did decent and who did not so decent. It'll probably be me not doing decent, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Some good ones this week.
Yeah, I'm unsure about this week because it showed that week 1, like which is the true team, week 1 or week 2 team, you know? That's why these spreads are getting really hard to look at in these totals because you just, week 3 is a weird one. You're starting to, after week 3 you start to really understand a team and where they're coming from. But another bet I was really looking at was the total for the Miami-Denver game. It's at 48 now, but I don't see Denver being able to put up that kind of points. I mean, they're looking better than they were, but not 48 good. And I mean, I know the Dolphins can score, but it's a 48 total. That's kind of a 2-team affair usually, unless it's a total blowout. So that's just one you could definitely be looking at some value there before the line moves. It started at 44.5, so everybody's hammering the over, and that's where, you know, you fade the public. All right, we're at 48 now, so you can get some value on that number before it closes. Atlanta +3.5 against Detroit. Do you have faith in this running team to run through the lines like that? I kind of am feeling confident. They got Aiden Hutchinson on the edge, but after last week, they stuck through to the Packers. So, I mean, the Lions and the Packers, it's not that too different of a teams in terms of their skill ability. So,
plus, a lot of passing.
Yeah, +3.5 there. I like that. I like that bet a lot. Indianapolis Ravens, I'm holding off on that game. Anthony Richardson's a huge factor there. This guy's going to love Baltimore, but they're at the 8-point margin right now, so I don't see a lot of value there, personally. Especially with the way, like he said, Gardner Minshew can show up and play, so it could be a 7-point, 6-point game here. I mean,
not this time, buddy.
But, yeah, I also don't like seeing the Houston Texans get hammered as hard as they are for how well they played last week. They're already getting pushed down to 9.5 points against the Jags. If that number hits 10 somewhere, I'm definitely picking it up. Right now, it's still at 9.5 on all my books, so yeah, I don't see it personally. I mean, I know I'm sure it's a trend thing, but overall, I just think that C.J. Stroud can keep the game closer than that. But that's a close one. That's a big spread. There are a lot of gambles there. Chargers, Minnesota, they got a close line there. They're 0.5 point difference. Again, what was I saying about Minnesota? They're 0-2, but their record isn't 0-2. So maybe you sprinkle a little money line. I would sprinkle some money line if I seen an underdog number. I don't see it yet, so I'm definitely not supporting that. Let's talk about the Jets Patriots. Pats are 2.5 point favorites. That is way out of line in my opinion. I see the Patriots definitely closing here at -4. If the public goes as crazy as I think, this could get to 6, 5.5. But like if you can get that in, I definitely recommend that. The total even is at 37. Patriots, they're a defensive team right now. They're still developing Mac Jones. They're not doing anything crazy, and it's the Jets, man. If the Jets are scoring, it's probably Zach Wilson throwing to it for a pick 6. So keep an eye on the total there. It's getting pushed down with the public. It opened to 30.5. So if you want that number, you better go snag it when you're watching this right now. Get on it as fast as you can. Tennessee, Cleveland. I don't see much value in that game. It's 3-3. 3 spread, total 39.5. I think those are good numbers. I think these are two very close teams. If I see more, I was riding Browns, but once I seen Deshaun Watson start acting up once he didn't get his own way in the game, it's starting to make me worry. And that's what I mean. Is Tannehill good? Is he bad? Is Deshaun Watson good? Is he bad? There's a lot of question marks in that game, so I'm not a fan of that game. I don't see me touching anything. Saints Packers, same thing. 2-point spread, 43 total.
For me, Packers. I got it at minus 1.5. It's minus 2 already. Jordan Love's looking great. Packers are looking, or the Saints are looking bad. Honestly, I watched
Worst
that Monday night.
team.
Yeah, I watched that Monday night game, and I wanted to fall asleep. It was Panthers, Saints. It felt like nobody was doing anything. Derek Carr started getting hot at the end, but like Jordan Love was hot the whole game, so I'm going with him.
Yeah, I lost a little money on Green Bay, so that might be my feelings getting in the way, but I'm not riding them hard enough quite yet to be riding that number. Maybe if they were underdogs, but
I got minus 1.5.
that's great value, though. I mean, they're already moving up to 2, so if the public keeps moving, it's going to be minus 3 before you know it.
Yep.
And depending on how much you like the Saints this year, it'd be a good time to snag that plus 3. Panthers, Seahawks, that's a doo-doo game. Seahawks only 6-point favorites. I think they've proven that they're going to end up being a lot higher than that by the time this is done. I don't see any value at 6. Panthers aren't good, but Seahawks aren't great. I don't see a lot of mismatches on their teams here. Totals at 42. I'd say bet the under, but Geno Smith just seems to love to score a crap ton of points out of nowhere sometimes. So this could be one of those games. Maybe I the team total for Seattle. Cowboys Cardinals minus 12. Totals 43.5. I'd definitely say if you're gonna bet on this game, you gotta go Cowboys or nothing. Because is it really gonna be hard for them to stop them and put up that many points? I don't think so. I doubt it. And even there's an under game potentially. It's a 43.5. But we've seen the Cowboys can score 40 points on bad teams by themselves, so gotta watch that. Chiefs Bears 12.5. Totals at 47.5. Chiefs aren't playing enough for me to ride that game. I mean, all it's gonna take is for Justin Fields to have one good game, and it's definitely they're gonna cover that spread. So that's another game of uncertainty. The totals at 47.5. Maybe sprinkle some on the under if you're feeling it, but you never know with these guys, especially Patrick Mahomes, man. He's a beast.
He can get hot anytime, and he will. Don't sleep on him. He will get hot. So it's just when.
Yeah, not a good time for me to touch it, in my opinion. Personally, Pittsburgh 2.5-point underdogs against the Raiders. Man, I don't know. It's one of those games where you could pick either side. Honestly, I don't like that number personally for the Raiders 2.5. I know you get the hook for the 3, but I don't know. We've seen Pittsburgh's defense keep a mediocre offense in the game already, and this is Jimmy G's Raiders. I mean, I haven't seen anything, oh my gosh, crazy, even with Devontae Adams on the team. So that's a coin flip kind of spread right there, and the total is 43. So maybe an under, because that thing's already moving down. It opened at 44.5. Maybe grab the 43 or wherever it's at when you watch this video. I wouldn't go any lower than 42.5, honestly. But you do as you wish. Monday night, you got the Rams playing the Bengals. Bengals are 2-point favorites. I don't get it. I can't believe that.
Puka looks good. Aaron Donald's in there looking, especially if Joe Burrow's not in there. If Joe Burrow's not in there, and you hit that 2-point underdog for the Rams. I think that's great value because without Joe Burrow in there, I mean,
That line's going crazy, guys. The Rams are going to be -2, -3.
yeah.
Who even is the Bengals backup quarterback?
No, I was trying to think.
But that's kind of my point.
Yeah, I can't think, and I'm in their division. I can't think of who their backup is. It's been a little while since I've seen.
But Jake Browning. So
Yeah, who even is that? Never heard of him.
he went undrafted in 2018. He apparently had some good seasons in Washington in college, but he was an undrafted quarterback. So
Impressive seasons that I never heard of.
yeah, I mean, dude, go get this number right now. +112 money line. I wouldn't even bother with the spread. It's +2. There's no value there. There is value on the There's value in the team, but I don't like the +2 personally. If you're strictly a spread better, hammer it down. But me personally, I'm going money line on this one. Rams are beating the Bengals. I don't care. I think they're just gonna keep cooking. I think this might be a playoff run for the Rams. One more before Matt Stafford hangs it up. So, yeah, that's another one. I'm all in on them. That's probably one of my. I'm probably putting a unit and a half on that game before the line gets out of control. And I'm telling you, once Burrow is ruled out, boom, you're looking at -125. That's where they're gonna throw it because it's gonna change the whole entire, like the whole I forget the word. Script of the game.
So I think I'm gonna give them my bets for the week. We'll get back to this and see how I did. So I got the Green Bay Packers when they were 1.5-point favorites. So -1.5 spread. I put a unit on it. Buffalo Bills. I put -6.5 points. I mean, I think they're gonna be over one touchdown over the Commanders. It probably moved by now. Miami Dolphins, I got them at the same 6.5-point favorites. 49ers, I got them as 10-point favorites because I don't see the Giants, especially without Saquon. I don't see them. I see the 49ers blowing them out. I got the Ravens. Let's go. 3-0. I got the Ravens 3-0. Team bias. Yeah, you don't have to follow this one, but that's okay. -7.5 favorites. I think they're going to destroy the Indianapolis Colts. Our run defense is great. I don't think Anthony Richardson is going to run through that line without getting another concussion. I also don't think that, what's his face, Mr. Mustache, Gardner Minshew is going to throw on our defense, and that's with a depleted secondary. I really don't see it happening. So I see us winning by 10 points or more, so I'm rocking with the 7.5. I also got a Rams money line. All of these I got a unit on, so I'm rocking with that. I got the over for the Chargers-Vikings game at 54. I think that's going to be a shootout. That's not a something that he liked. But I think Vikings versus the Chargers is going to be an absolute shootout. I got the over on the 54. And that's all my bets for the week.
But that's normal, guys. I mean, that's gambling. You either win or you lose, We might disagree or agree. Sometimes it's a matter of a field goal whether one of us is right or wrong. It doesn't mean we're gurus. It's just our analysis. We take the time to look at this stuff for you guys. Get all your fantasy information, injuries, go over the games. Give you something to listen to while you're doing something at your house or doing some work at work. We're in this for a long haul, so just make sure you like, subscribe, keep us in touch. Let us know that we suck, we lost you money. Let us know if we're giving you the good information. Hopefully you're picking up on these waiver wires, because I'm not gonna lie, our week 1 waiver wire, if you go back and look at that was a pretty good. Some of the guys were like 3% roster, and they're up. Puka, he's up to 70% now. Everybody's on this guy. We had that crap in before anybody, so just stick around. Let us keep telling you what's going on. Let us keep gambling with you. We're going to get a little more interesting as time goes on. It's obviously only our 2nd episode, so we find some ways to make it fun. Depending on how we grow, do some giveaways or something one day. We gotta keep it going though, so just keep on sticking around. Put the notifications on. Keep us around. Coming to Spotify soon.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know how you feel about this. If you think there's something that we need to add, we need to change, we need to do something different, let us know. We will do that. We have an email where you can send questions to, and we will answer them on the stream. Comment asking for our email. I will respond to you and let you know our email. So let us know how we can improve so that we can make this the perfect stream for you to watch. We got some cool stuff coming for you soon. We got some new equipment coming in. We got a fun year. So let's get to it. And hopefully you turn on the notifications because we will be here every Tuesday to give you the information that you need. So thank you for watching.
Yeah, drop some voice clips in that email too. Freaking out about some spreads or some fantasy guys. I love hearing those. We'll play them on the stream. It'll be a good time. So if you guys got anything to say, make it vocal too, because that's funny. Drop it on the soundboard.
All right.
Yeah, boys.
Go, man.